Hey, how's it going? This is Chris. Oh, as you can see, it's morning time and I'm recording now. Yay! Okay, so I always start with the word okay and then the word so. Well, it's not all the time, but a lot of the time. We need to start on, or I need to start on the armour, and it's not actually that hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate this bit, okay, which is obviously just our big old frame chassis here. And then from this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a plane, and I'm just going to use auto grid and just draw it out any old way that I want. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as I get, you know, roughly the middle part done. I can come out from that. So there we go, and I'm going to bring that across just to the middle, or more or less the middle. There we go. And once I've got the first piece positioned, you see, my job's going to become a lot easier. So I'm going to turn off angle snap. You can see all my hotkeys again, so hopefully you'll find that useful. And the first thing I need to do really is bring this back in as smooth a shape as I possibly can. Okay, so if I go to my modify panel, convert to editable poly, and what I can do here is just start bringing it out. So I'm going to get my left viewport here, and interestingly I can see that this isn't quite flat. Now I would like it to be flat, ideally. So come back here. Am I not in my front viewport again? Oh, I'm in my left viewport. Right, just bring that down. Once, twice, there we go. Now this far end I could do with the same kind of 11, to be honest, so make it nice and narrow. And then over here, what I'm going to do is basically move this over the surface of my model, like so. I'll just press F4, just so I can see my edge. I'm going to start it about there, and I want to keep it kind of an equal distance, what I would refer to as equidistant, as I go over this. So just keep my angle nice, like that, just all the way over to the back. Until I finally get over here, and obviously where it's turning or curving more, I need to add in more edges, so just be careful. Now this is a interesting little modelling challenge really, because what we have to do is make this look like it's supposed to fit. Okay, so we have this initial shape here. Now what I'm going to do from here is use this to basically model the sides as we go as well. Okay, so double click here, and now I can just shift and drag that along. Now I don't just get to shift and drag this along, I have to obviously reposition it as I go. So what I'm going to do here, pardon me, I have been working in the shed, and I've got a little bit of, what do you call it, my chest. Right, I'm going to do a quick connect all the way back. Okay, and then I can just bring that up just a teeny bit, like that. Now I'm going to do the same again on this one, and connect. Now a lot of this is going to be kind of artistic tweaking. There's a lot of tweaking required in this kind of thing. So there's a few periods where I go quiet and I look like I'm thinking dead hard and stuff. It's because I'm thinking dead hard and stuff. There we go. Just adjust that because I noticed it wasn't properly full screen again. So connect. Now I can bring this down a bit more. I only need to do 1/2, obviously, because it's symmetrical. Now be careful, we don't want it to clip to your model, but we do want some interesting kind of edge shapes going on here. Now at the back, where this thing's doing quite a lot of stuff. I want to adjust this so it doesn't scallop quite as much. And here, where this one comes down, I'm going to make it just come straight in, so it's a nice, even kind of shape. Remember, we can adjust this as we go along, so don't necessarily feel worried that we're going to have problems with this. We won't. Okay, now, again, just going to double click here, bring it over. Now, I'm going to bring this down a bit. Not too much, just a little bit, like that. And again, at the back, we can see that this edge needs straightening a bit. And the good thing is that we can kind of straighten up these edges at the back, like this, which in turn kind of brings our deform down. See that? I mean, it's a shame that we have to kind of cover our model in the way that we do, but we need to, so. Okay, now over here. And again, there's the move tool for this. And if you think to yourself, that doesn't look like, you know, the model I thought you were using as a reference, I didn't want it to. That's not the point. You know, I could make it look like, you know, a Warhammer piece of armour. I can make it look like a heavy metal piece of armour. I can do what I want, really. And so, because of that, I'm making it look like the armour that I want it to look like. I don't think I need to take it any further. In fact, I think I can take it one less than that. Okay, now over here at the back, again, remember I was using my scale tool, so just do that again. Scaling parts flat where I need to. Slightly flat, slightly less flat, even less flat. Okay, so eventually, you know, it kind of blends and we get this blended shape at the back, while at the front here we get this really non-blended shape, which is what I'm looking for. So what I'm doing now is I'm bringing this down in places, because I have to continue with my armour shape. So, being careful as I can, because this is going to be quite sharp if I'm not careful. I'm just bringing these down. And in parts where, as you can see, it's quite far ahead of the machinery in the armour, I can start adjusting it. Slowly moving it into the right position, just trying to make it look nice. Okay, we need to get this shape kind of, not even, but we need to get it smooth, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, now, down the sides here, so we can see where this armour is. We'll start bringing this down a bit more. Again, just being as careful as possible not to ruin any shapes that I have. Okay, now I want to do a little bit of cleanup of some of these shapes. So I just have a look at these, and it's starting to look okay. So I'm going to take out perhaps this and this. And then with that removed, I'm just going to start messing about with reverts a little bit. Just bring them up, bring this one down a bit, because what I want to do is just slowly build the shape that is in the end basically going to kind of be this abstract armour for this piece. So it's important that I have the shape at the minute more or less right. Okay, now I'm going to unhide all, because I need to be able to see the pieces at the back, because there's some bits at the back and I don't want to hide them. We spent a while, you know, making these, so why in the heck would I want to hide them? It's a good question. Okay, now I'm going to take this and this, Bring them down a bit more. I'm going to bring this in. Okay, that's a nice shape. Right. Quite a lot of stuff's been done on this, so it's starting to look okay. Now I need to get rid of this edge. Let's delete it. And then I'm going to apply symmetry to it. So I'll just go down all the way to where it says symmetry. Okay, and we get this great big piece here like that. Now, if we look at the back, okay, just here, I'll go back to editable poly. Okay, it's okay, but there's a lot of space at the back that really shouldn't be there. So I'm going to put an FFD on, and just a 3x3x3. Now the positioning of this isn't right, so before I do that, let's just collapse this. Okay, actually I'll take off the symmetry first, and I'll collapse this. And then with that collapsed, I'm going to stick on reset X form, and that'll just reset the bounding box, because obviously I moved the plane around. And then I'll collapse it, so the bounding box is in the right place, and then FFD. Okay, so now what I can do is I can use my FFD just to move these 3 points here, here, and here. Just bring those in. Not too far, you know, just to there. Now you can see there's some overlap, but we can deal with that by just grabbing here and here and pulling it out a bit. Okay, so now the shape looks a bit better. It's more like what I wanted. Okay, now I'll collapse that. The next thing I want to do is put a shell on this. I think I'll put the shell on though after I've applied symmetry. So symmetry. Okay, and just collapse my symmetry once it's done. And I can see there are some areas in here that look like they have spaces in. See? So I want those kind of fixed. Let's have a look. Yeah, look, spaces. That's no good to me. So I'm going to do Control A on my vertexes and then do a weld. I'll just increase the threshold until they clip together. And that's that. That's all that I needed to do. And you can check that's right just by selecting by element. Now, pardon me. While we still have this kind of basic and yet certainly the shape that I want going on, I'm going to stick the shell on it. So I press S, just find shell. A lot of people don't even use these basic modifiers, which always like blows my mind, quite frankly. And we can grow it on the out, or we can grow it on the in. I'm going to grow it on the in. Now, you may be seeing a couple of problems here in that it's not very thick in some places. Well, it's equal thickness, it's just it's kind of twisted, you see. So if you think it's not really thick where it should be, it probably is. You just need to really check your edges. Okay, that looks cool, man. I like that. I don't want to intersect with things, but the armour certainly looks thick enough now. So, I'm going to let autosave do its business. It'll only take a minute or two. And then once autosave's done its bit, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to convert this to an editable mesh, poly rather. I very rarely use editable meshes. Okay, so now I have this shape. Now, what I'm going to do now is go to my front viewport and I'm going to take half of this away again. Simply because I know the shape's not right, but I needed the inside building for it. So, delete, perspective, zoom, and that'll give me these. Okay, and with those, what I'm going to do is, let's have a look, just loop. Now if I loop that, it'll go all the way around the outside. I don't really want it to go all the way around the outside, I just want these ones. So, goodness me, I think I've got cold, it's not nice. Now I've got to be careful on how I do this. First thing I'm going to look at is this edge flat, or what I'm doing won't work? And it is. So I can just go like that. Okay, and just flatten the edge directly, like so, which makes things a teeny weeny bit easier. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these. And actually, before I do, I'm going to put on my symmetry again. Like so. And collapse it. Okay, that way I've just got this single point. And this is like the biggest, I think this is like the biggest single mesh so far in the damn thing. Now we can see there's a teeny bit of overlap there, and so what I'm going to do with that teeny bit of overlap is just take this and this, just gently move them up a little bit. Not too much, I don't want to break the shape, just a little bit. Now, I can apply a turbo smooth to this, and when I do, okay, you'll see that the curved shapes I've been building are starting to work, but there's a bit more needs to be done with them in order for them to work properly. So, what I'm going to do is just isolate the selection. Just end it by isolating. So isolate selection. So I've just got this, and this is going to allow me to start basically just putting some edges in using the swift loop. So I'm going to turbo smooth it and go to perspective and zoom, and now I'm going to drop down, so I'll put isoline display on. I'm going to drop down to editable poly. Now I think I'm on quad view at the minute. Yeah, I am. So if I go to my, I always get this bit wrong, configure viewports, and I think I want to change the layout to that and apply. So perspective, zoom, hit F3 for this one, and for this one hit F3 as well. Okay, now kill turbo smooth, and over here, shumf. What I'm going to do is make myself a reference and just move that well out of the way. It's going to go over here, zoom in on it, and with my reference I am going to apply turbo smooth like so, and I'll stick a couple of iterations on it. Okay, I may not have the 2 iterations on it in the end, but for the minute I'm going to. And now over here I can work on this one, so getting nice and close. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to select these, and with these 2 selected I'm going to loop them. Now what I want to do is I want to inset these. So if I just inset them by a very small amount, say about that much, and you can see what a difference it makes on the edge over there, and click OK. Next I want to basically maintain the edges here, so I'm going to use a swift loop and just tighten it up there, not too much, you notice I didn't put it too near the bottom. I'm going to do the same again here. Okay, now I'm not going to bother doing the other side because I could just symmetry it, okay, but what I want to do over here is I want to tighten this edge most definitely, and I want it pretty tight. So if I do that, and then over here I do this, and you notice that my edges now are getting much tighter than they were. Over the top of this, I think I'm going to put an edge here and an edge here, so this way we get a kind of a curved shape, but not a really tight curved shape, if you kind of understand where I'm coming from. Okay, autosave's doing its business. Which sounds a lot like it's having a poo. Ooh, stretch. So what I'm going to do, rather than put the loops and things that I shouldn't be, come over here. Will you stop being selected? There. Come over to that one. And I just want to have a look at the back to see how it's looking. Overall the shape's looking okay. I mean, there's going to be a lot of refining I need to do, but that's always the case. Okay, back into here again, and let's look at the swift loop. Now I can put a little loop there if I wanted to, just to kind of highlight that curve. I'm not going to. I could also put a loop here if I want to pinch the curve. You can see that kind of pinches it there. I just want to see if there's anything I really need here. I'm going to put an edge on there, and on this one, let's look at the back. So I need to be careful. I don't want to end up accidentally ruining shapes that I really want to use over and over again. Okay, that's cool there. Right. Next, I'm going to delete this and make this big again, like so. Go to my front viewport and zoom, and we can see that uneven now. Turn grid off, and I'm just going to delete this half and unhide all, so I'll just end my isolation. Perspective zoom, and get in there over there. Now I want some space for, you know, some engine outtakes to come out, so what I'm going to do is just take this area here, and I need to take the underside of that area too, which I believe is these. We'll soon find out if I'm wrong or not. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert them like that, and then I'm going to delete them. Haha, got it right, that's good. Would have looked very silly otherwise. And then bridge them. Okay, and that creates this nice shape here. Next, at the front I don't need any more weird holes going into my model. I mean, I've got more than enough as it stands. So what I'm going to do over here is apply the symmetry to it, and then collapse it again, and then I'm going to stick a turbo smooth upon it, and that will give us this rather nice clean shape. I'm just going to check my F4. I mean, it's not especially smooth. I could probably do with making it a teeny bit smoother. And before I do, I'm pretty sure that I have a vert that should not be there. There it is. Naughty vert. Go away. Is there a naughty vert on the underside as well? Let's have a look. There does not appear to be, just on the top. Go figure. Okay, so 2 iterations of turbo smooth. That's 1, and that's 2, and you can see how many lovely polygons we get when we have 2 on here. Now, the only issue I'm going to have with the second turbo smooth is that if I want to create a kind of rimmed border on this, then I will need to do it on the first iteration. I don't think I need to, but I think what I'll do is I'll take it down to 1 just to be on the safe side, and that way anything that I need to be doing in my model I can be doing right about now. Now, because I have that done, what I can also do is take this, just shift, drag it over here, because I very much enjoy reusing things wherever possible. Turn angle snap on. Okay, so we have this piece here, and this piece here I can't help but feel would make a jolly good little breastplate type thing. It's not quite the right shape, but you know what, I can make it the right shape. So if I just keep this, this and this, and hide unselected, hide selected, unselected, like I say, I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting a bit cuckoo, crazy tired. Okay, so I get this into roughly the right place, and then I'm going to scale it down, whee, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to flatten it a bit, ooh, like that, not too much, just a little bit, and then I'm going to convert to poly. Well, it's already converted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reset its X form. Okay, so that resets all the transforms on it. Now, if I bring this up here to about there, I can start basically using this as a cover. So I'm going to go on an FFD 3x3x3, I'll just see if I can reuse this piece. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, and if I can't, I'll admit it, you know, because I make mistakes, we all do. But I should be able to kind of work with this a bit. Bring the shape around and then collapse it. And the trick is to keep collapsing your mesh as you go along, okay, and eventually you'll get this kind of rounded shape that you want. So again, an FFD. You can put FFDs on top of each other, but I don't see the point of putting max under that level of strain, to be honest, especially when I'm working with this many polygons. Now here, make sure I get the angles the same. I'm going to do this 45 degrees. And then here I'll do 45 degrees as well. Okay, so this starts to make it round. And then on the top here, just bring that up a bit. And collapse it again, convert to editable poly. Now let's see how we're doing with this. I'll be able to start moving it into some sort of coverage here. We're getting there. Now FFD again. And this time a 4x4x4. That way I can get the bottom pieces. Start stretching them. Now for this piece, it gets a bit more complicated, so I'm going to scale it. Good thing about this is you don't have to worry about the transforms, you see. So, okay, that's cool. And then I'm going to grab these ones here and these ones here and bring them in. That's not bad, it's getting there. Bring in a bit more to stretch them loads. I'm not especially concerned about stretching them, as long as they're going to fit. I just want to make sure that if I'm looking at this, it's not kind of sticking out like a junk man's stomach. It shouldn't look like a pumpkin stuck in the front of it either. So I just want to make sure that the shape's kind of not stupid, which it's easy to do. Okay, now here, again, going to go into the FFD, and 4x4, open it out, and I'm just going to grab these top, pull it down. Okay, and then I'm going to go here, and here, pull it up. Back, I'm going to get this and this and pull them in. Okay, and then here and here, bring it down. And convert to editable poly. You see, and now we've reused the original piece of armour, although it doesn't actually look anything like the old one. The holes in it now look like they're there primarily, if I just unhide all, the holes in it look like they're there now primarily so that we can attach, or rather see, the hoses through the middle of it. So the only thing we're going to have to kind of think about now is, well, how is it attached? And we know how it's attached. It's going to be attached using nothing whatsoever except for pretend rivets. Okay, so we've made quite a lot of progress here. I'm going to build myself a little reminder so that I remember what it is I'm supposed to do next, because I'm pretty sure I've got a head cold. So if you think to yourself, oh, how am I going to remember what I'm going to do next, and you really can't be asked to pick up a pencil or open Notepad because you're just an Asperger's ridden artist like me. I don't know Asperger's, I don't think, but you know what I mean. Just build yourself a little reminder. Or, you know, use a Sharpie and write it on your monitor or your face, or your girlfriend's face if you have a girlfriend. Or your boyfriend's face, you know, I'm not one to judge. You want to have yourself a boyfriend? That's cool, man. Right. I mean, if you're a girl, obviously, you know, I'm digging myself into a hole here. I'm going to be starting to talk about my cool gay friends any second and stuff, I can tell. Okay. So that goes in there. Just check the size of it, make sure there's no overlapping going on. And there is a teeny bit of overlapping going on, you see. That's no good. Let's convert to edgeable poly. Okay, and top viewport zoom. Make a little friend. There we go. Move this one out. Love all the negative space in this. Can't even begin to imagine how I'd make it into a game model. I'm sure I'll work it out one of these times. Okay, so now we have these exciting little shapes going on here. I'm going to refine the breastplate and the top plate, but I'll probably do that in the next part. Oh gosh. As you can see, we have came a long way, however. Let's turn it around and look at the back. As you can see, the point of the armour is that it's kind of protecting stuff and at the same time allowing us to see the cool detail. And we can see through the model to a degree, but not too much, which is good. We've got to see through the model a whole lot less soon, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to call that done for the moment. Well, not done, you know, but this part done. And I shall see you in the next bit. Until then, bye-bye.